Okay, live. Time to talk podcast. Time to talk show. Time to talk. We do coffee, black coffee, not tea. And there's a reason for that. And I'll explain to you right now what this quick video is going to be or what this live is going to be if anyone happens to catch it. But it's about 1:30 here on the East Coast in New York. And about a half an hour, we've got the Diddy trial, the charge conference, which is what's going to be taking place today. Charge conference essentially is a meeting held. It's like a legal proceeding for the prosecution and defense and the judge to go over the instructions to the jury and before their closing arguments. Their closing arguments are supposed to come Thursday. That's tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. And I believe this case wraps up and goes to the jury by Monday, supposedly. So they can have this case Monday and then we can have a verdict sometime next week, I would suppose. Now, what I want to get into is this idea that charges have been dropped by the prosecution. Charges have not been dropped in this prosecution, all right, by the prosecution in this case. Charges have not been dropped. As wonderful as that is for a thumbnail and for clickbait titles by YouTube journalist, that's not the case. And I'm talking about it specifically because, again, in a half an hour, the actual charge conference is coming up and we'll probably have a little more information, a little more clarity on the subject, in which case I'll do a follow-up video later on this evening once more details have come. This morning when I find sensationalized YouTube videos claiming charges dropped and people using that language and being excited over the fact that the prosecution has dropped a bunch of charges in this case, I of course was like, my ears perked up like everyone else who went for that clickbait nonsense, right? I was like, whoa, when did that happen? So I immediately did what a actual journalist would do, which would be to look for sources, look for further information on this, get more clarity on the situation, and nothing was available, absolutely nothing. So I just trying to figure out, well, this person is not exactly Megyn Kelly by any stretch of the imagination or Candace Owens by any stretch. So I was like, where are they getting their information? How did they get this information? And what's the details on it? Because at first I wasn't even disputing it. I just kind of wanted to know, where is this person getting, I'm going to leave this person unnamed. Where are you getting this from? Right? I almost felt cheated. Like, how do I not know that? And how come I don't see it anywhere else on any other media sources, right? And you need to be able to search multiple sources. One of the rules of being a journalist, you don't just get a story put in your ear or get a little bit of information and then run with it. You kind of have to take some time, massage it, figure it out, dissect it, and then sort of make your, make your statements as a journalist. So the other part of this is when you do get a little bit of information, to sensationalize and dramatize just the clickbait headline of a charge is dropped and rolling with it from there, to me is irresponsible, right? Like, especially if you're going to be on YouTube, you're going to be standing outside courthouses and you're going to build an audience. It just seems to lend itself, like, to make you less credible of a YouTuber or less credible of a wannabe journalist, right? If you want to be Wendy Williams and you want to just stand around and get people excited over stuff and spill the tea, go ahead. But I just think that really hurts your brand. I'm not really picking on anyone, and I'm not saying these people are bad. I'm just saying, think about what you do and the repercussions of it later, because it just comes off as really stupid and silly and ignorant when you make a big deal and say charges have been dropped when they haven't been dropped. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. In an effort to streamline the instructions to the jury regarding some of the predicate acts under this RICO case, the prosecution is essentially conceding certain portions of it. In other words, attempted kidnapping under California law, the attempted arson under California law, attempted kidnapping under New York law. So in an effort to, when they give the instructions to the jury and how these things are laid out so as to not make this more difficult to understand for the jury, the arson is not going away. They're not abandoning an arson charge. They're not dropping it completely and saying, oh, no, forget that. They're not doing that. They didn't get rid of kidnapping, right? They're essentially letting the instructions read as the attempted, the language that we're using in terms of attempted arson under certain state laws. These things are being removed. But that does not mean charges have been dropped. Anyway, I probably should have, since I've got a growing channel and it's a much younger channel and I've got less subscribers, I'm the one that probably should go with the sensationalized headline and the thumbnail that says charges dropped. Diddy's a free man. Diddy right now is on his yacht. That's probably the next thumbnail I should put up. But anyway, I want to talk about that really quick because, again, looks like about 25 minutes or so, half an hour, we've got the charge conference taking place in the Southern District, New York City, my home. And that will actually probably give us some more details and such, and we'll have more clarity on the situation. And then we can report on it and see what happened and see what's what and get more details about what charges were, what language was modified, and how they've abandoned certain things and conceded certain elements of the predicate charges in this case against Diddy. I got to say, while I'm here, while I'm on a live, I still don't think this man is going to. I think the jury is going to get this case on Monday. It could be over as soon as Wednesday. I think there's enough reasonable doubt here, which is one of the reasons why I believe the defense is not calling any witnesses. They don't need to, and they have to remember the fact that if they do call witnesses, that leaves them open to cross-examination, and some of these witnesses might say things they don't want to really have to deal with. So they're confident enough to know, like, look, so far, the only thing the prosecution has done, and this is how I feel about it, it's my personal take on it, and I believe this is what the defense is saying, is that you have successfully prosecuted this man's personal sex life. That's what we got. We know he's a bastard. We know that he, beats women or puts hands to women. We don't know the full context of it. She hit him first. It doesn't even matter. We saw the video, the CNN video in the hotel, right? We know that he can be a scumbag. And we know he's got his own sex, proclivities and his own way of doing things when it comes to the people in his life. That's his business. All we've done with this trial is put one big camera onto Diddy's personal sex life. This is not, again, I repeat, because people are so confused when it comes to the RICO laws and statutes and predicate, and everyone's an expert now on sex trafficking and drug trafficking and RICO. By the time this trial is over, I think everyone probably might actually be RICO experts but there's a fine line between making the definition of the act of what it is and then really applying it to this case. Was he actually working, coercing, and facilitating this criminal enterprise all in an effort to cover up his crimes? One could argue the case that are certain drugs illegal? Yeah. Was he using some illegal substances? Is it technically legal to have someone bring you some weed and some Molly pills and some Cialis or whatever the hell he was getting? Is that technically illegal? Yeah. Was this all being done in an effort to cover up a criminal enterprise? What was he covering up? What was he hiding? What was he trying to keep from people? What was he really interested in? He was basically covering up his personal sex life. He had freak offs. He got his freak on, or they got their freak on with different dudes and stuff, and he liked watching, and that's his whole thing. We can't judge that. This is not what this case should have been about. You should have shown me something else. And quite frankly, I do not think they made their case that this guy is the head of a criminal enterprise and was using all of these different people to facilitate all these different crimes in an interest of covering up that criminal enterprise. It's not what happened. We got the black coffee here. We don't do tea. We do black coffee. We keep it real. Unfiltered, unadulterated, just pure. Okay? Time to talk. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, whatever. Let me know what you think about where this is all going to go. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. We got more coming. I'm going to try to work on doing some more lives. And I might even make it out to the courthouse and just hang out and see what's going on down there before this whole thing ends. Probably sometime when the jury gets the actual case and they're deliberating, I might go out there and just do like an episode from there. We'll see what happens. Anyway, time to talk. I will see you on the next one. Again, 2 o'clock today. They're going to have the charge conference, so stay tuned and we'll see what happens after that. Peace.